Welcome to another video in the course Sustainable Logistics in Healthcare Organizations. This is your teacher for today, and in this session we will explore how healthcare workers can navigate and implement change effectively by using two powerful frameworks, the ADKAR model and Kotter's 8-step process for leading change. These frameworks provide practical tools to understand, plan, and drive successful change, whether it's improving workflows, introducing new technology, or enhancing patient care practices. Let's dive into how healthcare workers like Julie and Peter can become a key player in leading positive change in their organizations. Making logistics sustainable demands possibly some change. As healthcare workers, Julie and Peter often face changes in their daily routines, whether it's new procedures, technology, or sustainability demands. But how can they navigate these changes and contribute to making them successful for themselves and their workplace? How can we think about constant change, and how can we make change happen? The healthcare sector is constantly evolving, and as a healthcare worker, standing in the midst of change is inevitable. Whether it's adopting new technologies, implementing stricter infection control protocols, or meeting ambitious sustainability goals, change is a continuous process. Nowhere is this more evident than in the global push to meet EU climate targets, transition to circular processes, reduce plastic usage, and improve waste management. All the things we have been covered in earlier videos in this course. These changes are not optional. They are essential for a sustainable future for healthcare organizations. Why change is unavoidable. Let's repeat a few bullet points about the why. Healthcare sector is responsible for almost 5% of global greenhouse gas emissions. In Europe alone, 57 million tons of plastic waste are generated annually, with a significant percentage coming from healthcare. Because of EU's goals and commitment, hospitals, clinics, and care facilities must adopt circular processes to minimize waste, reduce reliance on single-use plastics, and improve sustainability in procurement and logistics. For a healthcare worker, these changes might mean learning new protocols for sorting waste more effectively, transitioning to reusable or biodegradable alternatives for commonly used items, collaborating on projects that reduce the carbon footprint of your facility, such as optimizing energy use, or improving purchasing or inventory control. Change in these areas is no longer a choice, but a responsibility. Now, a bit about the importance of change management frameworks. What precisely can Peter and Julie do to navigate in all this change? Change can be challenging and create uncertainty, but with the right frameworks, healthcare workers like Julie and Peter maybe can get a better understanding of what is needed, how to reduce resistance, and achieve better outcomes in all this change. Frameworks such as ADKAR and Kotter's 8-step model provide practical tools and structure to help navigate change processes more effectively. Frameworks provide answers to critical questions like, how do I adapt to change in my daily routine? How can I help others understand and embrace the change? And how do we sustain new practices over time? No healthcare worker stands alone in this journey. Change is a collaborative effort involving various stakeholders. Working together ensures shared understanding and mutual encouragement during transitions. Sustainability officers, waste management experts, and logistics coordinators bring technical knowledge to drive sustainable solutions. Managers and leaders provide the vision, strategy, and support needed to implement change effectively. Educating patients and their role in sustainability, for instance reducing waste during home patient care, might foster shared responsibility. Change can be overwhelming. Implementing new practices while maintaining high-quality patient care requires a structured approach. Let's now take a look at the frameworks ADKAR and Kotter's 8-step method, and let's look at them with a few examples. ADKAR stands for awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement. Let's take a look at what this means. Awareness is about understanding why change is needed. Awareness involves explaining the reasons behind the change and why it is important. Healthcare workers need to understand the context and the benefits of the change to build initial acceptance. Example: Julie notices the excessive use of single-use plastic items, such as disposable cups, in her department. Julie discusses the issue with her colleagues and shares data about the environmental impact of single-use plastics and how other departments have successfully reduced their usage. Posters and infographics are placed in staff areas to inform everyone about the environmental cost of plastic waste and encourage participation in the change. Desire is about building motivation to support the change. Desire focuses on encouraging individuals to embrace and support the change by highlighting personal and professional benefits. In this example, Julie can encourage her team to support the initiative by emphasizing how their efforts can make a real difference. She ties the change to their shared values of care and responsibility. During a team meeting, Julie might ask for input on ways to reduce single-use plastics and discusses how these actions align with the hospital's sustainability goals. She can provide to the team a small reward system, such as recognition or incentives for departments that reduce their plastic waste the most. Knowledge is about equipping staff with the skills and information needed. Knowledge ensures that individuals have the tools and training necessary to implement the change successfully. To help Julie's team succeed, Julie can organize training sessions on alternatives to single-use plastics, such as reusable items or biodegradable materials. With regards to communication, Julie can explain practical steps to transition from single-use plastics, such as using reusable containers for food or switching to paper-based disposable items. Written guidelines and demonstration sessions show how to implement the changes, ensuring everyone knows what to do and where to find resources. The step ability is about ensuring the team can implement the change. Ability involves giving individuals opportunities to practice and refine their skills until they can confidently perform tasks related to the change. For example, Julie ensures her team has the tools and resources to implement the change, such as access to reusable cups and biodegradable alternatives for medical use. Julie also checks in regularly with her colleagues to address any challenges they face while adopting the new practices. The department is equipped with sufficient reusable or sustainable materials to make the transition easier, and logistical support is offered to integrate these changes into daily routines. Reinforcement is about sustaining the change over time. Reinforcement focuses on ensuring that the change can become a permanent part of workflow and preventing regression to old habits. For example, Julie can ensure that change becomes a permanent practice by monitoring progress and celebrating success. Updates on the department's reduction in plastic waste are shared during, for instance, staff meetings, along with stories of how these efforts contribute to the hospital's sustainability goals. Monthly reports show measurable impacts, such as reduced waste volumes, and ongoing incentives recognize individuals or teams leading the effort. So, this is how the ADKAR framework can be used as an example. Addressing single-use plastics. Julie identifies the issue of excessive single-use plastics in her department, raises awareness by sharing data on environmental impacts, and engages her team to support sustainable practices. The team receives training, tools, and clear guidelines for transitioning to reusable and biodegradable alternatives, with regular check-ins and logistical support to address challenges. Finally, progress is monitored, successes are celebrated, and monthly updates highlight measurable impacts, reinforcing the team's commitment to reducing plastic waste. Now, that was EDCAR. Let's look at another framework. Kotter's 8-step model can be summarized as follows. First, we need to create a sense of urgency. We need to build a guiding coalition, develop a vision and strategy, communicate this vision, empower broad-based action, generate short-term wins, sustain acceleration, and anchor the changes in organizational culture. Let's take a look at an example of how Peter can use this framework to drive change. 1. Create a sense of urgency. Explain why the change is necessary and how it addresses pressing issues or opportunities. A sense of urgency motivates people to act. Remember, we talked about the concept of safety stock, procurement, and costs in another video. Here's an example using Kotter's 8-step model for Peter's initiative to change how a nursing home manages its purchasing processes. For example, Peter highlights how excessive inventory ties up resources, wastes money, and sometimes leads to expired items being thrown away, emphasizing the need for immediate action. Number 2, build a guiding coalition. Assemble a group of people who are committed to the change and can influence others to follow. For example, Peter forms a small team of colleagues, including nurses, administrators, and a procurement officer, to support and advocate for the change. Number 3, develop a vision and strategy. Create a clear vision for the change and plan actionable steps to achieve it. Peter proposes a clear vision to shift to a demand-driven purchasing system that minimizes waste and frees up storage space while saving costs. Number 4, communicate the vision. Share the vision frequently and clearly with colleagues. Use every opportunity to remind them why the change matters. For example, Peter presents his plan at staff meetings using examples and visuals to show how improved purchasing can benefit everyone at the nursing home. Number 5, empower broad-based action. Remove obstacles and give people the tools and authority to implement the change. Peter identifies and removes barriers to change, such as outdated procurement practices, and introduces simple tools to track inventory and avoid over-ordering. Number 6, generate short-term wins. Celebrate small successes to build momentum and show that the change is working. For example, Peter implements a pilot project in one department, quickly showing how reduced inventory levels free up space and lower waste, gaining more support from staff for other departments. Number 7, sustain acceleration. Build on initial success to keep the momentum going. Look for ways to improve and refine the change. Building on the pilot's success, Peter expands the new system to other departments, fine-tuning the process based on feedback. And finally, number 8, anchor the change in the culture. Ensure the new practices become a permanent part of the hospital's or nursing homes' routines and values. For example, Peter ensures the new purchasing system becomes standard practice by including it in staff training and operational policies, celebrating the team's contributions to making the change permanent. Now, this was an example of how to use Kotter's 8-step method in a healthcare organization. Create a sense of urgency, build a guiding coalition, develop a vision and strategy, communicate the vision, empower broad-based action, generate short-term wins, sustain acceleration, and try to anchor the change in organizational culture. Peter successfully led a change initiative at a nursing home by reducing overstocked inventory, saving cost, and minimizing waste through Kotter's 8-step process in our example. By involving his colleagues, implementing a clear vision, and embedding the new purchasing system into daily practices, he ensured long-term improvements in resource management, which is an important factor in making logistics more sustainable in the future. Now, let's play with another example and think about waste management, which we talked about in earlier video. Imagine your healthcare facility is introducing a new waste sorting system to align with EU sustainability goals. This means you now have color-coded bins for recyclables, infectious waste, and general waste, along with new procedures for handling hazardous materials. Here's how you, as a healthcare worker, can approach this change. Try to focus on understanding the why. Reflect on the purpose behind the new system, reducing the hospital's environmental footprint and complying with regulations. And also think about the bigger picture. By sorting waste correctly, I'm helping prevent pollution and ensuring safer disposable methods. Take small steps. Start by familiarizing yourself with the new bin locations and what goes into each. Practice during quiet moments in your shift, such as sorting packaging materials after unpacking supplies. Remember, try to collaborate with others. Ask questions if you're unsure. Does this item go in the recycling bin, or is it considered general waste? Also, share tips with colleagues. Sharing and discussing change is important for learning. Try also to provide feedback. If you notice any challenges, report them to your supervisor, colleague, or others. And try also to always suggest improvements. It is generally always a lot of different solutions to a challenge and a problem. And lastly, try to celebrate success. When you notice that the new system is working, hopefully, try to share the results. Sharing results and gaining traction is a key in driving change and making it become a part of the permanent culture. Now, for some final thoughts. As this last example shows, change doesn't require you to do everything at once. By breaking it into manageable steps, staying curious, and working collaboratively, you can adapt successfully and even inspire others to do the same. Remember, change is a shared effort. You're not alone. You have colleagues, leaders, and specialists who are all part of the journey. Together, you can navigate the challenges of change and build a stronger, more sustainable healthcare system. And frameworks like ADKAR and Kotter's 8-step method might be helpful in doing it in a more structured way. Now, for some final thoughts. As you leave this video, think about one small action you can take today to embrace change. It could be as simple as asking a question, helping a colleague, or reflecting on how you can contribute to sustainability in your role. Every step matters, and with right mindset, you can lead and thrive in the face of change. This was a bit about the frameworks ADKAR and Kotter's 8-step method. They can both be used by the likes of Julie and Peter for driving change towards a more sustainable logistical future. Be sure to check out the other videos in the course Sustainable Logistics in Healthcare Organizations. Thank you for watching.